Something I know we've been talking a lot lately about struggle and just life and chaos and all of the things. But I think that regardless of what season of life we're in, especially as women and Christian women, I think there's a great connector here in all of this, is that there are lies that we tell ourselves that steal our joy. So I think there's 5 that we all say, and maybe even like subconsciously, like we might not even realize how much we say this to ourselves. Second lie. I have to do it all.
Oh.
I struggle with this one so much. And somebody left me a comment that was really not a nice comment, but basically it was just assuming they took something that I said totally out of context, because that's not at all what I was saying. It's usually what happens, yeah. Mm-hmm. And basically said that I was teaching that women have to do everything in the home by themselves, and husbands do nothing and children do nothing, and so I am showing my son that he needs to find a woman that will just work endlessly while he does nothing. And I mean, it's just like,
are you training a Gaston?
Apparently, right?
Where he gets to just put his feet up by the fire and little Belle takes care of everything? And are you training that?
And I
have been in the house and
right, okay. And I was like, sure. I don't even know how you.
Now there are very certain things that, like, yeah, I'm the lady, and yeah, that's my playing field, and yeah, you're the dude, so like that's your playing field,
right?
And there is a certain level
it's not
of that.
I can't do that part, and you can't do this part, but like we have our right.
Yeah, but no, you don't. You're not training some Gastons.
No,
but
no, not even a little bit. But I thought that was so funny. But I was like, but I feel quite frequently. Me, myself, like deep down in my feels,
pressure that you've laid upon yourself.
I have to get this all done. I have to do
today,
it all.
right now, 3 minutes ago. Why haven't I done it all?
Right.
That level of pressure?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because we do. Sometimes we will. We'll like put this pressure upon ourselves. Unrealistic. Usually, like 99.99999% of the time, no one has told us that these are
self-imposed.
Absolutely self-imposed.
Self-imposed and unrealistic.
Mm-hmm. That I have to do it all.
So we're holding ourselves to so high of a standard that we're like, I need to meet that.
I think social media doesn't help with this. I was talking with my mom the other day, and she was talking about how she did not know this is what happens, but a lot of these, it's usually the like mommy bloggers, type of a thing, that like, that's not even their real house. That's not even, I'm like, no, it's a serious business. Like these big names that you see, they really do make stupid money having rental homes that they're film sets. They film in them, right? Like that's not a real thing. And my mom was like, that is insanity. And I'm like, no, it really is. But then you watch it and you go, wow, she does everything. She lives in this like $1 million home. She has all the stuff. She does all the things. Like I can't even keep it together. Y'all were sitting in an old basement with stuff all over the place. Like we've showed you in podcasts before. So that's not what I got going on here. But,
so I think this is appropriate because I don't know if you probably have no idea what you are even talking about right now.
Yeah, I usually don't.
But I'm going to get real internet-y. Not that... It's really hard because I say these things and I don't want people to believe that, like, I'm into them. I just know about them.
Right, yeah.
So, like...
You're much more aware of the things going on around the internet spaces. I live under a rock.
Oh, yes. Like your daughter and I, we conversate about the internet goings on and what's happening. And you're like, whoa, what now?
Yeah, I have no idea.
But her and I really, because she's a teenager and she knows the internets. I don't know the internets. I just know what's going on the internets.
Gotcha.
So, I know that TikTok went away and then came back.
Okay, yeah.
Because everybody should know that because I don't know.
Even I know that. So if I know that,
okay, so
it's impressive.
The TikTok went away, but the big thing that went on before the TikTok went away, because it only went away for Americans.
Oh, yeah.
The big influencers got on and told people their lies.
Oh, so like their final confessional.
That's exactly what it was.
Away, right?
So this snippet, a voiceover of Peter Griffith saying, well, if we're all going to die, and then he voices his, like, controversial opinion. He doesn't like The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so, like, if we're all going to die, you guys better know, I didn't like The Godfather. Okay. But the TikTokers put this on their videos, and then they confessed to all of their lies. So it went like this. If we're all going to die tomorrow, you know all those videos where I told you that I did all these workouts? Guess what? I only did one, and I just did it, and I clipped it so that it looked like I did 300 of them. You know those cooking videos? Nobody ate the food. Yeah. You know how I said that we do this? Guess what? That's not real. So it was like this big reveal. The whole world that used TikTok got to be part of this. So they all now know Americans' lies. And then Americans get back on and they're like, so
now that it's still working, where do I go from here?
A girl did that eating thing where she sits and eats on... So she does one of those, and she only would take a bite, and the big controversy was like, oh my goodness, you're so thin. How do you stay so thin? Are you actually ever eating the whole meal? And she's like, of course I am. Of course I am. Of course I am. How dare you say anything differently? And then she got on and was like, yeah, I don't eat any of it. I take one bite and spit it out.
But I think that these are big key pieces of why we start to believe, like...
Because it's the only thing that we see.
Right, I have to do it.
All mixed together.
Like, how is it that you watch these people and I get it, and sometimes it's hard because you're trying to, like, as a content creator, you're trying to show a piece. It might all be clipped together in, like, one day, but I'm not actually doing all these things all every day. Just like the Proverbs 31 woman. That is an ideal. We should take the characteristics of that, but you cannot do all of those things every single day versus a Titus 2 woman that talks about your character. Yes, you should be doing and growing in all things, right? Like that. Yes,
absolutely.
Whereas Proverbs 31 is the ideal, like that
it's
could
like
be
a checklist,
right? That could be like over the season of her life. That could be over the, you know what I mean? Like Proverbs 31 is a like
in the beginning of Proverbs, it does not say every single day.
The prescriptive, not descriptive, right?
It does not say, like, every day this is what happened.
Right.
It just says, this is what is. This is what you should strive for.
Grow in these things, you will
wisdom
grow in wisdom.
Is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it gives you, like, a checklist of wisdom.
Yeah.
You don't have to check off every single thing every single day to be a wise person or to use that wisdom. Using wisdom is choosing which ones you check off each day so that you are not burning yourself out so that you have no tomorrows because you're in bed every day.
Right. If you can cook from scratch and grind your own wheat and wake up at dawn and take care of the animals and homeschool your children in this like incredibly elaborate system, knock yourself out. If that's
fantastic. I'm so glad that God has equipped you in that moment to use the skills that you have to do this amazing thing with your day. But it's not what you have to do every day.
You don't have to cook from scratch every day. I would say eat real food. Real food's fantastic, right? Like I can choose to eat real food versus processed food each day. That doesn't mean I get my grocery pickup from Walmart.
If God hasn't given you,
it's okay.
Let's say a Whole Foods. God didn't give us a Whole Foods in our town. That's not something He gave us.
We got to drive a hot minute before we could even get to one.
We got a Walmart.
Yep, that's what we got.
I
got an Ingles, but I can't always afford that. So
we got an Ingles and a Walmart, but that's kind of it. And then we have like farmers markets that maybe we could kind of,
seasons,
but like
we could get some stuff. Yep.
So God hasn't given us the availability of that. We use what we can do, and we should not compare ourselves to the people who I think it's called Erewhon. I'm a Californian and I don't even know what it's called. It's a grocery store that like
that's where Kathy,
So you actually know people
I actually do, yes.
who shop at places like
because
this.
I remember walking through, we're in Calabasas, and we're walking through this grocery store, and I'm like, this is probably the, number one, I'm in like the fanciest town in the world. Yeah. Walking through the fancy, I mean, everybody in their grocery shopping is like a multimillionaire. And I'm looking around at some, and I'm like, it's just funny, right? When you look at on the other side and you're like, here I am. I could look through this lens of social media, of what the perfect privileged life is.
Yes.
But then you're walking through the grocery store that you like, you have to be somebody to even be shopping there.
Yes.
And
well, you should be.
Oh, you should be, right? Yeah, like you're not
Americans.
Right. You're not anybody just walking through there, like. And it's like there's still grandpas. They're multimillionaire grandpas, but standing in the aisle trying to figure out what they want to grab. It's still like, it's so funny in the ways where you're like, it's the same thing.
I think you had a problem with it because that's not where God put you.
Yeah.
God put you here. And when you didn't do it by choice, but you had to pick yourself up and place yourself in that scenario for a time being. And then you got to put yourself back and be like, okay, thank goodness. Okay. But that moment, God put you there, but he doesn't keep you there. So you had to like compare it and be this totally other person and walk through, and you still have all of your mindsets from here. And it's so weird. Because God didn't put you there. He didn't give you the mindset to do that. That's not your place. You felt weird in it because it's not your place. If you're trying to do everything and be everything and accomplish everything, if God equipped you for that place, that's fantastic. Use your God-given abilities and talents and skills and equipment for the betterment. I was going to say of the kingdom, but that's like, yes. Like, yes.
But if not.
But if God hasn't given you that skill, use the skill you have.
I know that most of the things that you're seeing that are making you feel like you're not doing enough are probably fake. or clipped. And that was like the point of like, remember that everything that you're watching is something that somebody is putting together for you to watch.
I see how your points are adding together, because if you're not enough and you feel not enough, but then you compare and then you're like checking off the list of, well, I can't do it, then you definitely are feeling like not enough.
See?
And it like, because it adds to a feel and a mindset, and I call it a wet blanket. I feel like I have a wet blanket thrown over me and it's just too much. How do you get out from underneath a wet blanket?
Yeah.
It's heavy.
It's heavy. It's like clinging to you.
Uncomfortable. And like, I feel like, and it's not fun.
No.
Like, it's not a pleasant experience.
Nobody would enjoy that right now.
So, I feel like that's what and then with all these additions of your points, I see that it's a wetter and wetter blanket. If I buy the lie, my blanket becomes very wet and my burden becomes heavy.
If I let this thief break in, this thief of joy,
he's going to steal everything.
And now hold me hostage by these lies.
Everything's stolen.
Right?
Instead of just a little bit being stolen, everything's stolen.
Well, what about? Don't just stop there, because there are 5 different things that I think might be stealing your joy today, because I know I've been there and that's been absolutely what I've been facing too. So be sure to see the rest of the series here with the different lies that might be impacting you today. Continue watching right over here, and be sure to like this video and share it with a friend so that we can call these lies out and move forward.